Hi, everybody. So here's the puppies at 5 days old, and I haven't done a video, and it's just because I've been incredibly busy, worse than ever. Both Lexi and I have had a lot of like mini little crises going on, but the puppies are not part of the crises. Everything's going amazing with them there. We did have Daisy barrel past the door, unbeknownst to me, and try to get right in to see the puppies. And unfortunately, I actually think there wouldn't have been a problem at all, but I overreacted because I was petrified because of Willow's previous reactions and because of my investment in never having her not love Daisy. But neither of them had collars on, and so I was all alone, and I just panicked, and I reacted so fear-based that Willow then kind of went after Daisy. She bit me by mistake. It wasn't hard or anything, but my bigger worry was if there's any bad blood. But we haven't gotten her together since, because we don't usually get Willow together with the puppies until she feels more comfortable, like 2 to 3 weeks down the road. And this was like they were only 3 days old, so I can't really blame her in a way, but I'm going to get them walking on a pack walk. I just want her to always view Daisy as her baby, which is kind of anthropomorphizing again, but it's my biggest hope because you never want bad blood between girls. But we've had issues with Shaq and Willow, and it's never led to anything permanent, so I'm praying not. But anyway, that was just one little thing. We've got a million other things. My computer's breaking, my phone. Just crises. Plus, not to mention, I'm not getting much sleep since I'm sleeping in here with these guys, and they happen to be a pack of loud ones the first night. Then they got dead on silent, which was great. And then my problem child, who's right under here, named, look at her. You can't see her now, and she's quite beautiful, but you can't see that either. Maybe you can see her really pretty head is, we're calling her Shasta She-Hulk, which is perfect because she's enormous like Shaq was when we picked her up. Shaq was bigger than all her brothers. But anyway, she is called Shasta She-Hulk. Jennifer is the superhero name, Lexi tells me, but she was an attorney at law by day, so I'm calling her J-Law, which I think is hilarious, or Jenny from the block. And then there's my precious Diana right there, this little, well, she's not so little anymore. And again, just so everyone knows, there was nothing wrong with her. Well, she was actually born outside of her sac, which, sometimes they aspirate so much fluid they don't even survive. And I want to say that we thought maybe the other red girl was, but our notes were unclear because they were coming pretty fast at that point. We might have had 2 born outside of the sac, but definitely little Diana right there, second from the back of Willow's legs, was born outside of the sac, but she just is perfectly healthy. And she's just tiny compared to everyone else, but she's gaining weight every day. And then right next to her is my mini Willow, Mr. Fantastic. He's gorgeous, and he reminds me of Willie. And the reds are incredible, you guys, because the deepness of the reds so far. So right there reminds me of when Asher was a little baby, and her name is Doreen, and she's got that beautiful head like him too. And then another one with the real great diamond there on the head is Flash Gordon, Henrietta, in the sandwiched in between those two. Wow, I'm feeling pretty good that I'm already knowing their names since I barely spent any time with them because of work the last few days. Sandwiched in between those two is Squirrel Girl, or no, that's Doreen right there. But then her brother, it looks a lot like her, Steve, and he's Shasta's I Can Do This All Day Captain America. And then right over there is Loki, who I really love too. And I forget his formal name now, because again, Lexi's the one with the superhero lore, but look at that beautiful face. Or is that Loki? Yeah, that one's Loki, but he has a look-alike over there in the corner too, I think, which is Harlequin, the Joker's ex-girlfriend, and she has a beautiful little mustache. Let's see though if there's no... Let's see, this might be her right there. Is that you, Harley? No, that's little Loki. And then right on top of Willow's paw is our Hulk of the group, who is a real gorgeous one too. All white head, red body, just a stunning head. And he is Rocket, or Rocky, we call him. And Rocky or the raccoon, but we call him Rocket. Anyway, there's Willie, and there's everybody, and there's Wonder Willie's superhero squad of 9, looking amazing. And I just can't tell you guys how grateful we all are for the unbelievable ability for Willow to whelp litters like this. I mean, it's true that if you're not trying, people can like have, you know, dogs be bred to their neighbor's dog, or poor dogs bred under bridges, and they all end up okay. But a lot of breeders we know have severe and serious problems routinely. So for Willow now to be on her 35th and final puppies, but this beautiful girl right there, who is an AKC bronze grand champion even, and just turned 5 in June, is now the mom of 35 puppies, I believe 6 of which are already AKC champions, and that's without even trying. That's just with people saying that they would show. We had another girl who would have been a champion, but her mom had to get called away, and we never were going to be able to finish her. But anyway, that's just miraculous, and I'm so grateful. So grateful. I'm so grateful to Lexi for all the help in making it happen, and the people who've let us use the beautiful stud dogs like River and Ezra. And we'll have yet to see if these puppies turn out to be as beautiful as their mom and dad, and as beautiful as these markings already are. So if we don't get massive high ears or curled tails or anything else that can happen, it's going to be unbelievable. And even if we get that, they'll still be gorgeous with their markings probably. Well, that's a definite, but we're hoping for confirmation with great little ears and tails. And they're so cute. Look at that little, there's my Diana, Princess Diana. I'm calling her too, Princess Di, even though she's for Diana, Shasta's lasso of truth, Wonder Woman. So anyway, guys, I knew you'd appreciate this 5-day-old video. It is boring, but I know none of you think it is. And so what we'll do is we'll get a more exciting stuff as they get going. Oh, and I do want to make a prediction. Unfortunately, I think this group is going to be much feistier than my precious little Peanuts gang and Loves Litters. Just by the way, they're giving me some problems at night, and they're also moving around very adeptly early. And Willie's wiped out, aren't you, Willie? But this is only her right now. She's been eating like a champ and going into her pool really well and doing super.